It boosted confidence. We pushed it a lot as varsity that game. Had a couple guys go down that kind of shook us, but we were able to bounce back thanks to Logan Wells, able to put 6 in and then able to finish them out 6-11. So honestly, it was a great game for us just to get back on our feet after coming off of loss against CC. But other than that, yeah, it was the first RMAC game for most of these guys. So it was great to get that first up in the RMAC.
Solid game for us against Adams State. Obviously, we wish that offensively the ball got into the back of the net a little bit more. But hats off to their goalie Edwards in the cage and the 20 saves that he had to make on our 50 shots. That's really good. That's really good. So for us, a lot of the game plan, from a base perspective, doesn't change. However, there are a lot of intricacies that we think that we can exploit against both Westminster and Colorado Mesa as we get into RMAC play. Reality is that this weekend is what we call judgment weekend. And the reality is that everyone has, their first taste against their rival, which we had last weekend. But now the dust is going to settle. The dust is going to settle in terms of who's sitting at first, second, and third, and as well as fourth throughout this conference after the weekend. So we've got some schematic and tactical things that we want to exploit. And it's just all about rolling the ball out and getting to 7 p.m. on Friday and playing.
We have high expectations. We always want to limit opposing teams to 8 goals. Being a leader of the group, the group makes it easy for me. So they're pretty well-rounded guys. They have a lot of IQ. They come from all experienced backgrounds. All it is just tweaking little things, and just doing little things right, and just getting them on board and just playing with that high level energy. I just see my role just as just being somebody to look up to, or somebody just ask questions about everything, knowing that this is my last year. I'm not going to be only known like the real freshman, the refreshment freshman, as their only year here. Just able to look up to somebody, get them better, get them on track to keep progressing this program. And that's my biggest thing. Just keep mentoring these guys, keep talking to them, and just get them on track to hopefully win this RMAC championship.
Yeah. Offensively, we know that they move the ball well. The reality is that based on the amount of tape that we've watched, we've seen them tweak their personnel. So, it's a question of who we're going to get out there on the field, and, the advantages and the strengths and the disadvantages that the different individuals and the packages that they run have. We have to make sure that, from an IQ standpoint, we're communicating on the field and we are ensuring that everyone is on the same page, especially defensively. From an offensive standpoint, we know that defensively, they're not a team that's hyper aggressive. So, we do think that we'll have the ability to move the ball around, but at the same time, go into a game expecting one thing, but when you're punched in the mouth, be ready to respond and do something else. So having the ability to be fluid with our game plan and be flexible enough and confident enough to change into something else is what we're carrying into Friday night.
It's just one game at a time. We have a tough sled ahead of us this weekend. Yeah, and most of these guys don't know the experience of playing back-to-back tough games like this, knowing that we play Westminster Friday at 7 p.m. and it's gonna be a tough battle, and then we play back again on Sunday against Mesa. And our bodies is gonna feel different. It's gonna feel tough to play those games after Friday. But we just have to find that spark and just keep going. Just keep your head down, keep grinding.
We know that Mesa is going to want to push the tempo. They're going to want to make it an up and down game. They're going to want to use their depth against us. Historically, they've had, a very large roster, but not necessarily a deep bench. So the reality is that, they're going to want to push tempo. They're going to want to, increase the cerebral processing of our players and make us try to play faster than we're comfortable with, when, the reality is that we've been practicing those things week in and week out. So, we're excited to have a ball game against them and, take some of the strategic things that we know that they're going to do and exploit them and, move the ball down, get it to our offense and get that ball in the back of the net.
One key to success, little things. I always emphasize in practice about doing little things right. Everything that we do is always about doing little things right. Even when we're mentally tired and we're not feeling it, it's just matter of fact doing little things right, because little things win the game.
With Logan, it seems like there's been for every game that we've played this year, there's been an offensive player that's just had some ridiculous stat lines. And, it's kind of been a next man up type situation. When one team takes one guy away, there's another guy that's going to be open. So, hats off to Logan for, getting the ball and putting it in the back of the net. Again, with that said, we do wish that we were, a bit more spread out in terms of the scoring, but the reality is, there's multiple ways to score, and we just need to get the job done, get the ball in the back of the net. Don't care who does it, as long as it gets there. With Tavian, him being part of our defense, and our defense doing a great job this past weekend. Just hats off to all of them. Tavian was the one that was fortunate enough to have some stat lines that really did go in his favor. But, the thing that we're most proud of is the fact that we held Adams to going 0-6 with their man up. So keeping them off the scoreboard and blanking them when they had a man advantage is huge for us. So, hats off to our defense, hats off to our goalies, and we hope to continue that into the weekend.